Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercising my first to memorize vlog style, here with a review in shades. And yes, that is indeed the name of the review series that I'm going to be doing on this channel. And the review today is going to be of Like Bad Case of Big Mouth, a band that I know on the scene here, a band that my band has shared the stage with once or twice. This band is a melodic hardcore, I like to refer to them as melodic hardcore, band by the name of One Fell Swoop. And 3 of the members of this band go to my school here. I'm pretty friendly with the vocalist, the lead vocalist of this band, AJ Chiarella. He's one of the guitarists in the jazz ensemble that I'm a part of here. That's how I originally got to know him. He's a pretty cool dude. The bassist and guitarist I also know go here. Can't really say I know them personally, but they seem like pretty cool dudes too. I originally took notice of this band, like I said, because I was, in a jazz ensemble with AJ, and when I saw him perform an acoustic set, he gave me a copy of the band's first EP, which was 2012's Hole In, and when I heard that they at one point opened for Bayside, which I am fucking jealous of, I knew this band was legit. And a year later they came out with another EP, even though I think it's kind of big for an EP, but kind of small for an album at the same time. 2013's The House Leaks, which is also a very good listen, and now they have a third EP that I'm going to be reviewing here called Last Minute Living. And just like with Bad Case of Big Mouth, I had pre-ordered that. I had Jazz Ensemble last night, the official release date of this EP, which was yesterday, November 4th. Today's the 5th as I'm recording this. And AJ himself actually gave me the copy after class ended, and I was pretty damn excited, to say the least, to listen to this. Some things I've always liked about One Fell Swoop that are definitely present on this album would be the very distinct vocalists. The clean vocals are pretty well done. There's some very powerful hardcore vocals from John Rodriguez, the bassist. Very powerful hardcore vocals. And some really nice lead parts, some nice drumming. These guys are very talented musicians. So given that I was, pretty satisfied with their previous releases, I knew I was gonna have a good time listening to this. So there are 4 tracks on this EP, Last Minute Living, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of them. The first track is called Found a Bottle, and this is one of my favorites on this. It's probably my favorite out of the 4, if not tied for my favorite with one of the other songs that I'm going to mention later here. There are some awesome riffs in this song, some really nice melody lines, some good bass parts, some really nice execution, good musicianship. The lyrics are pretty melodramatic, but they fit the mood, this mood of, feeling, empty. I found a bottle, it was empty just like me. Pretty nice lyricism. There's a soft section that reminds me a bit of Sublime. It's pretty cool there, and it leads into some really epic hardcore vocals from John, and then probably the best solo on here out of the solos here. The solo fits the progression, there are some nice techniques, it's creative, it's a really well done solo. One other noteworthy thing about this track is that it features guest vocals from Sean Huber of the band Modern Baseball. And if you haven't heard of Modern Baseball, they are an indie pop-punk band from Philadelphia that's pretty well respected amongst folks around here. I'm not really a fan of his contributions here because it just doesn't really sound like it fits, but, it leads into the final chorus with some ooze in the background that adds to some pretty nice tone colors. This is a very good song. Next track, You're a Quitter. It's a lot shorter than the last track. It's very hard-hitting, and it's a drop C song. There's some very relatable lyrics. A particular line that has spoken to me a bit was the opening line, just a cynical kid on the internet, which, when I was listening to it, I was like, whoa! I mean, I'm not saying that I'm really all that cynical, but, you know, I'm a guy who spends a lot of time on the internet, who sometimes has these feelings of, you know, having no value. Another theme that's explored in this short little song is, you know, wanting to comfort someone, wanting to help somebody, but not really feeling, you know, all that comfortable with yourself, not really sure if you believe your own words. That's something I felt from time to time when I've talked to people. One band that this track here reminds me a good bit of would be Sick of It All. Sick of It All are without a doubt one of my favorites of old school hardcore, and although their songs are very short, they're still executed very well. Do I wish the song was longer? Sure. But it gets the message out, it's got some very good riffs, and it's an alright track. Third track, April Fool's Gold. This is the other contender for my favorite. This is one of the better tracks on here. There are some great riffs, there's a great variety of riffs, lots of different riffs. It's probably the most proggy, I'd say, out of all of this. There's even a time change in the song. It goes into a bit of a 3/4 waltzy-ish section. There's a, you know, soft bridge with clean guitars where the drums are very standout, and it even eventually goes into a key change with a pretty cool solo on top of it. Then it goes into another soft section, which then it breaks into this really catchy and really sweet guitar melody. The only thing I'd say I'm really not a fan of on this track would be the feedback ending, where it's just feedback for about 30 or so seconds. I've never been a fan of those types of endings, but the redeeming thing about this ending is that it fades right into the final track on this EP, which is called Life is Short and Random. Now, this would probably have to be my least favorite on the album. Although the lyrics are pretty nice, it has a nice theme of, you know, uncertainty about what life can bring. This song is noticeably shorter and noticeably softer than the other three here. It's not terrible, but I just don't think it's the greatest of ways you could end an album. I've never been too fond of when bands end their albums or EPs with slower songs or softer songs. It just sort of seems like a bit of a letdown. Like I said, this track's alright, but it sounds like something that should really build up to something greater, but it doesn't. I mean, tracks like these I think belong more in like the middle of your album. Not exactly the right way to end something, in my opinion anyway. So overall thoughts on this EP, Last Minute Living. There's some good songs on here, some really nice musicianship, some really nice lyricism. If I were to give it a grade, I'd probably give it 4 out of 5, probably. There are definitely some songs I can definitely see myself listening to a lot in the future. And I would definitely recommend this as well as the rest of One Fell Swoop's catalog to anybody who's a fan of hardcore or melodic hardcore. Bands along the lines of Senses Fail and Such Gold and Set Your Goals, and bands along those lines. I would definitely recommend One Fell Swoop to anybody who's a fan of any of those types of bands, or punk in general even. This is definitely a band that really deserves a much wider audience, just like I said with Bad Case of Big Mouth. So definitely check this out, definitely get a copy, and thank you for watching this review. Take care and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I will see you next time.